do. Yeah, I guess the type might be a blue, but if you're expecting a nuance here, maybe try a different room. I'm Jordan. I'm a front-end engineer at Rapid7, but I'm not here to talk to you about that. I'm here to talk to you about NFTs and why I'm not really a fan. Okay. So, yeah, I'll be honest, when I submitted this talk, I kind of thought there would be very, more NFT talks than there are. I think I might be the only one. Fine by me. So maybe I'm preaching to the choir here, but I do recognize the risk that I do risk, so I'm very behind the times. And my knowledge of NFTs, I will admit, isn't all-encompassing. Like, I've never minted anything or developed anything, so very easy counter to anything I say today might be, well, you just don't know. I feel like I know enough to know that I don't want to know anymore, which kind of got me in this place. So in my limited capacity of understanding, I want to try and define NFT, but I'm going to do it in a less technical manner and use an analogy here. So I'm sure people recognize these things. The perfect gift for somebody who has everything, or more accurately, the perfect gift for somebody you don't really know very well, other than they like sci-fi or they own a telescope. So the general idea here is that you buy this package and then you get this little bundle that has some facts about the moon, and most crucially, a certificate that says you now own an acre of it. That sounds pretty amazing. Hard enough to own land on Earth these days. Maybe this is your chance to, actually get on the ladder and get off this hellhole for good. Unbelievable, in fact. So you're telling me though that I can do it, right? No, of course not. Outer Space Treaty states that no nation can claim sovereignty on the moon. By extension, nobody can own any land on it. But they will send you a lovely little certificate that you can show all your friends. The moon will continue to spin up there in an entirely unknown manner. So now let's pretend the moon is a hexagonal JPEG, the sky is Twitter, and your certificate is a piece of JSON, and you're nearly there with NFTs. So I guess, why do these things even exist? What problem are they solving? I'd say, aside from trying to find advantages for blockchain beyond cryptocurrencies, there's a few things that pro NFT people like to point to. I want to focus on one to begin with. One that I think is probably the most compelling argument out of any of them. It's a pretty open secret that our economy lies in the hands of very few people and companies. So crypto, and by extension, NFTs have always branded themselves as the leveler of this. Anybody can make the money, and they can share a slice of that pie that's usually sitting pretty high up on that windowsill. People like Visa, who have had $24 billion of revenue in 2021. Coca-Cola, whose soft drinks can be found in 2.8 million vending machines across the globe. Lamborghini, who I'm told make affordable transport. The Grammys, an organisation dedicated to supporting up-and-coming artists. And Square Enix, the creators of Final Fantasy VII, a game about an eco-terrorist organisation trying to stop a powerful corporation from draining the planet for profit, had to do this one because it just stinks. So, right, on reflection, I picked some pretty terrible examples here. They seem to just be global brands furthering their wealth using emerging technology. But of course they're going to jump in on it because they do love money. So let's try again. This time let's actually focus on the little creatives that can possibly get some money out of this thing. So here's a few pictures. Pretty cool. Independent artist that draws dinosaurs. And these have been minted as NFTs. I'm sure they managed to get some money out of this. Oh, they didn't mint it themselves. It was done by a random Twitter bot that somebody else tagged in, and then they had to ask people to stop doing it and put watermarks on their art because people keep stealing it. Oh, and then somebody actually tagged the same bot and then minted that tweet. Cool. This one's a particularly horrific example where the artist behind these works just had recently died due to cancer. Somebody started minting their work without their permission or the family's, and when the family reached out to try and get them to stop, people suggested that they maybe should have just got there first. Not great. So I gave up. It seems like NFTs in practice actually do very little to help small creatives, and in the end they actually assist in making their lives that little bit harder. There are little people on the other side of this too, people that get swept up in the hype. In comes the rug pull. This is an unfortunate situation in which people are promised the world, buy into the hype, that hype gets converted into money, and then the people behind the project fail to deliver on anything, including refunds. How unfortunate and totally not planned. And if you're wondering, this is actually an NFT as well, so I guess it's good to be self-aware. Here's just one example of a project that managed to get people to buy into a token under the assumption that they would get access to a video game in the end. Now people were left with a character for a game that doesn't exist and a token that's worth a fraction of the price they paid for it. Now, this isn't a phenomenon that's exclusive to NFTs. Some people might know who this man is. This is Peter Molyneux. Just ask him about games that don't deliver on promises. But the solution that we make here can't just be another avenue for people to lie and make off with the money. And interestingly, the background behind him here is scenery from his new NFT game that I cannot wait for. So I guess like in the interest of time, I'm just going to rapid fire some other reasons I don't really like NFTs. I mean, yeah, I kind of had to bring this one up, right? I know proof of stake is coming, but when also, you know, as a matter of efficiency, many of the things that NFTs seek to do can be done in entirely different ways. You know, me driving a car to the shop for dinner is far more efficient than driving a jet plane, I will admit. But what if I have food in my fridge? I don't need to go to the shop. You know, yeah, our planet's dying, please. Artificial scarcity is another one I really don't like. I think anything that is essentially infinitely reproducible, to tack on scarcity onto that is it's just morally I cannot get behind that. We really see that actual physical items have that issue, and bad actors come in and thrive on it all the time. I shouldn't have to pay like over £100 to stand at a Blink-182 concert in Belfast. That's ridiculous. I shouldn't need to buy a PlayStation 5 from a guy I met in a car park for a couple of £100 over the RRP. So yeah, like I definitely shouldn't need to pay out the nose for a JPEG that's supposedly one of a kind. And I mean, just the word fungible, it just makes me think of like a slimy little gremlin. So I don't like it. Lastly, yeah, I know art is subjective, but come on. The saddest clips I've ever seen. So, right, I'm going to try and wrap up here. I recognize that some of the examples I've used along the way here are, they could be dismissed as a few bad apples, but in my opinion, it's really that it's the logical conclusion of a system that incentivizes this speculative big number goes up approach. We've seen it before in many other things in the physical world, now we're seeing it replicated here. The fact is that if we really want to solve issues of distribution of wealth or the value we place on creativity within our society, we need much bigger conversations than anything NFTs can slap a band-aid on. And I think, especially us as a community of developers, we need to be careful how we approach these things, because it's important that we don't let hype distort our vision of things. We need to see them clearly for how they are right now and how they will be if things continue. AI art is on the rise as well, and I can definitely picture a world in which there are no artists involved and people just mint AI art and remove artists completely from the process. Like people in conferences in rooms like these were the driving force, the engine behind innovation, but we need to be the sat nav on it too. We need to guide it in the right direction, and we need to question who exactly is behind the wheel of these things. So before I go, I want to just point out a couple of resources that I think are good start points if you're interested in learning a bit more about what NFTs are doing. First is this documentary, Line Goes Up by Dan Olson. It's a very well constructed tech down of NFTs. I got 10 minutes today. This thing's 2 hours, so it definitely goes into a lot more detail than I ever could. Well worth a watch though. Secondly, this video from Legal Eagle, which is a bit more of a different approach. Tries to kind of navigate the labyrinth of legality around what you actually own when you buy an NFT. It's about 45 minutes, so it's a little shorter, but again, definitely worth your time. So yeah, with that, just say thank you for listening to me, and enjoy the rest of your NIDC. Thank you.